Hello and welcome to Math with Dotun. Today we're going to be looking at Roman numerals. So I just want to show you some of the secrets of the Roman numerals. First, we look at the main letters we have in the Roman numerals. But you should note something, that the letters are in ones and fives. All right, I'm going to show you that. Okay, so the first letter is I, which stands for 1, and the second one is V, which stands for 5. Can you see 1 and 5? Okay, the 1 and 5 is going to repeat itself all through the letters, all right, because the next letter is X, then you have 1 and 0, right? The next letter is 50, which is L, right? 50, 5 and 0. Can you see 1 and 5, 1 and 5, all right? And then the next letter is C, which is 100. Can you say the 1 again? All right. Then the next letter is D, which is 500. So can you see 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5? Okay, and that is how it goes. So I'm going to stop at M. Okay, there are more, but I'll stop at M. M is 1000. Okay. So you can see now that the letters are in ones and fives. All right, so that means 1 and 5, 10 and 50, 100 and 500, 1000, 5000, and like that. Okay, but with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we can form our numbers, and that's what we're going to be using in this series. So I is 1 and V is 5, X is 10 and L is 50, C is 100, D 500, and 1000. Roman letters, Roman numerals. Alright, so those are the letters of the Roman numerals. Okay, so this is the first thing you have to master. Just master them, and it's easy when you know that you're dealing with 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, and 1000, 5000. Okay, 1000. Okay, now this is stage 1. I'll call this step 1. Okay, so after this step 1, step 2 is for you to understand how the addition and subtraction works in Roman numerals. Okay, this letter added and subtracted, all right, to form the numbers. Okay, when you have a smaller number after a bigger one, is addition. All right, when you have the same kind of letter put together, is addition. So I have 1, this is 1, I, so I put 1 and 1 together, that's 1 plus 1, which is 2. All right, I put it together again, 1 plus 1 plus 1, and that's 3. So this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when you put the same letter together is addition. All right, so this is 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay, but in Roman numerals you can't go past 3 letters, or 3. You can't go past the letter being repeated 3 times. Okay, so you can't have it I. So you can't have it 4 times. The maximum number of times you can repeat the letter will be 3 times. So you can have it in 3 places, not more than 3. Okay, once you have repeated that letter 3 times, you're now going over to the subtraction. All right, so you cannot, to get 4, we can't say I. We have to go ahead. So that means we've exhausted 1. All right, so we have to come to V. We have to come to what? V, to get our 4. But we know that V is 5. So what do we do to 5 to get 4? What are we going to do to 5 so that we have number 4? That's subtraction, right? So if we take 1 away from 5, we are going to have 4, right? So in Roman numerals, how do we take away? We write the smaller number before the bigger one. So that means we want to take 1 from 5. So we're going to write 1 and then 5. So when you have the smaller one, here is 1, and the bigger one is 5. So when you have the smaller letter before the bigger one, it means you're subtracting them. All right, so this means 5 minus 1, and that is 4. Have you seen that now? Okay, and then we'll get to 5 itself. All right, so 5, and then because we already know that 5 is V, right? And then 6 is 5 plus 1. You see another addition now. We'll do 5 plus 1. All right, and this is 6. So when you have the smaller one after the bigger one, so 1 is coming after 5, so we know that you're doing 5 plus 1. But here you have I before V, you know you're doing 5 minus 1. So when you have the smaller letter before the bigger one, then you're doing subtraction. If you have the smaller letter after the bigger one, you're doing addition. This is very important for you to note in Roman numerals. Okay, let's go ahead. So 7 is 5 plus 2, right? So that would be 5 plus 2, I. Okay, and then 8 is 5 plus 3, so I. Okay, that's 8. And then we move to 9. Okay, 9 is 5 plus 4, but we cannot have VIV. All right, we can't have what? VIV, because that will contradict the rule. Okay, we cannot have VIV. So we're moving to the next one, okay, which is 10. So how do we get 10 from, how do we get 9 from 10? We take away 1 from 10, right? So if you want to take away 1 from 10, how are you going to write it in Roman numerals? From what I've explained so far, you put the 1 before the 10, right? Fantastic, you got it. So that would be IX. Okay, so having this smaller one before the bigger one means we're going to subtract this from the 10. So that would be 10 minus 1, which is 9. Okay, and then we'll get to 10. All right, I believe you're following. So that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So from 1 to 10, you can generate your numbers till 20. When you get to 20, you have XX. Okay, and then with this 21, 22, 23, so this is 20XX. All right, so and then you use that to generate your number, and like that. Okay, from even the numbers after 10, right? So that will be 10 plus 1, that will be XI. All right, and then you go on like that: XII, XIII, XIV, XV 15, XVI 16, XVII 17, XVIII 18, XIX, XIX 19, and XX 20. All right, so this is 11, and like that to 19 and 20, and then you continue like that with your 1 to 9 on 20, 21, 22, 23. So once you're able to master this, you know your letters, and then you can master 1 to 10 or 1 to 9. Then the next thing you're going to need is what I'm showing you now. The step 3, you're going to learn the Roman numerals in tens. Okay, in tens, from 10 to 100. Okay, let's write that out. From 10 to 100. Okay, what part of the board should I take off? Okay, this step 3 now. So this is 10, right? 20, 30, let's go together. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, we already written 100, but I could write it here. 1, okay, let's say 100. Okay, so what is 10? We say it's x, right? 20 is 10 plus 10, xx. 30 is 10 plus 10 plus 10, xxx, all right? And remember, once it's 3, we can't go further with x, so we can't say 40 is xxxx, no, all right? We're going to take 40 from 50. So what is 50? From the letters we've learned, we know that 50 is L. So what do we do to 50 that will give us 40? We take away 10 from 50. So you want to subtract now. That means you're going to put that small one. You write the small number you want to subtract first, and then before the bigger one. So we want to take away 10 from 50. So we're writing the 10 and then 50. So this means we are taking away 10 from 50. All right? That's addition, subtraction, right? And then 60 is 50 plus 10. All right, this is 50 minus 10, all right, equals to 40. All right, for 60, we're going to do 50 plus 10, all right? And then remember that the bigger one will come first, and then the one we want to add to it should come after it, all right? So that means 50 plus 10, LX. And then 70 is 50 plus 20, 50 plus 20, that will be LXX. And 80 is 50 plus 30, LXXX. And 90, we cannot say 90 is LXXXX, all right? All right, we already know 40, right? But we cannot also pick it from 40, all right? That is against the rule. So we're going forward. What is 100? What is 100? From our letter, we know that 100 is C, right? So from this 100, we're going to subtract 10, and then we have 90. So 90 is 100 minus 10. Remember, this is very important. Subtraction, that number comes before the bigger one. So we're taking away 10 from 90, so we'll write the 10 from 100. 10 from 100, sorry. So we're taking away 10 from 100, so we write the 10 and then the 100. So this is 100 minus 10, which is 90. So we have the numbers in tens: x, xx, xxx, xl, l, lx, lxx, lxsx, and xc, and 100 is C. So you know your numbers 1 to, you know the letters. 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000. That's I, V, X, L, C, D, M. IV, XL, 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 C, D, M. 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000. IV, XL, C, D, M. All right? IVXLCDM, IVXLCDM, IVXLCDM. All right, so please don't forget that. Once you're able to remember your IVXLCDM, and then you remember that it's 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, 1000. All right. Next is for you to remember 1 to 9, 1 to 10. I, V, V, VI, VII, VIII, IX, and 10X. And after that, step 3 is for you to be able to remember your 10 to 100. You know that 10 is X, 20 is XX, 30 XSX, 40 XL, 50 L, 60 LX, 70 LXX, 80 LXSX, and 90 XL. And then as you're learning this, you're paying attention to why 40 is XL and why 60 is LX. And you remember the addition and subtraction principle. That's it. Okay? So that's step 3, going from 10 to 100. And the final step in this series. I'm going to tell you 100 to 1000. That's counting in hundreds. So let's go. Let's count in hundreds. Once you're able to do this, then you're good to go. Good to go. So if you're doing this, learning this, maybe you're doing a self-learning, please write it down in your notebook. Write it down step by step as I've analyzed it. Write it down, and then also jot down the principles I've talked about. Okay, so step 4. Okay, step 4 is for us to count in hundreds. So we have 100, 200, 300. What's next? 400. You're right. 500. Right. 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1000. All right. So we say 100 is C from our IVXLCDM. All right. From that we know that 100 is C. We know that 500 is D, and we know that 1000 is M. All right. 1000 is M. Okay. I think you should master that song. Is it not interesting? Nice song, right? IVXLCDM. All right. So let's count in hundreds. So 100 is C. 100, just following this pattern. All right. The same thing. All right. But different letters, right? 100 is C. 10 is X. 20 is XX. 200 is CC. 300 is XSX. 300 is CCC. That's 100 plus 100 plus 100. Okay. And then 40 is XL. That's 50 minus 10. 400 will be 500 minus what? 100. You're right. And that's CD. Okay. And then 600. 60 is 50 plus 10. So 600 will be 500 plus 100. And that's DC. Not Washington DC, okay? But DC, right. And then 700 is DCC. 500 plus 200. 800 is DCCC. That's 500 plus 300. And then 900, just like we pick a 90 from 100, okay, which is 100 minus 10, right? 100 minus 10. So this would be 1000 minus what? 100. So that's CM. Okay, CM. Choir master, right? Choir mistress, whichever one, but CM. All right. So with this, from step 1 to step 4, you can form any number in Roman numerals. I mean any number at all. Once you're able to master this, and then you understand why what is what, you can form any number in Roman numerals at least from 1 to 3000. Okay, and you don't need more than that. Okay, the other one will be extra. Okay, and then if you have reasons to learn the extras, go ahead. But for us in the primary and even in the junior secondary, we don't need more than this. Okay, but like I said, if you have the reason to learn more, please go ahead to learn. All you need to know is, okay, what is 5,000, what is 10,000, what is how do you write 15,000 and all that. But for the hundreds and the tens, they remain the same all through. Okay, you just need to learn the higher thousands. Okay, but with this, you know, since 1000 is M, you know 2000 will be MM, and 3000 will be MMM. Right. So with this, you can rise from 1 to 3000 comfortably. All right. Just putting up everything you've learned from step 1 to step 4. Okay. All right. So do well to follow the next series. I will attach some questions in the other series we're going to be following, and I'll see how you're going to solve it. All right. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye.